This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to Potsy and Tino on the Potsy and Tino Show.
It's the Potsy and Tino Show. Talk the facts and let opinions flow. Laughs, hot takes, and maybe a rant. Two best buds with the mic and a plan.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Pots and Pans Network brings to you its tag team champions of the world. The Road Dogg Tino Gray, the badass Rob Potsy Potchak. Our theme song, as you just heard, is our awesome little run-in right there. And thanks to Cody Rhodes for giving us a little shout-out tonight. Tino, you know, obviously this is the Potsy and Tino Show. This is episode 424. You're a little, okay, your connection looked a little slow right there for a second, but you're back. So, every week we start the show with a little segment called What's Up With You? So what's going on with you?
Not a whole lot. This past weekend, I did my DJ thing. The Friday, so usually on Fridays I DJ and I do the acoustic duo but my partner called me Wednesdays like, yeah, I got COVID. He said, I want to call you and give you a heads up. He said, but you know, if you want to, I can still come and play. I'm like, why the fuck would I want you to come sit next to me? Oh, no. So I DJ'd both nights and so did that and you know, still had a good time, had a blast. Came back to work and like I ate something because that's all. I think I got a stomach something because like I said, I told you I've been in the bathroom all day and I feel like I'm gonna, you know, nauseous and it won't come and I don't like that feeling. Knowing it's like that, like, okay, you know it's gonna come, but you don't know when. I'm like, I don't like that feeling at all.
Yeah, most likely a 24-hour bug, but you know, you start having it come on, and then you get like where you're both sidesing it. You know, you want to make sure that your mouth is close enough to a bathtub, and your butt is close enough to the toilet. Yeah, or a bucket, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's not fun. I was telling you that when I went to Wendell for Havelock, when I went to Havelock, the same kind of thing was happening to me. It never came up this way because I'll tell you, my stomach is normally rock solid. It has to be like something really has to be wrong with me for me to throw up. But like I kept running to the bathroom that day and. You know, so for the next couple days, it like everything just felt like it was, wow, you were on the toilet too long yesterday, so it still hurts today, kind of thing. You know, yeah. So sorry to hear that you're feeling like that. That's not good. That's never good. I this weekend I went to Wendell for a small convention called the Epic Mighty Con this weekend. I sat next to Alyssa Wong, who is a writer of Star Wars, and she just recently had a story in Deadpool #1. So sat next to her all day, and we chat a little bit. I asked her if she voted for the Ringos, so I gave her copies of Zor so she could actually read it.
That's funny. That's
cool. And then I sat next to a guy who used to have a Discovery Channel show. And it's on Max now, and it's all about cryptids and like haunted spaces in North and South Carolina. So I don't know what the name of his show was, but his name was Chris, and here's what was funny about that. Like randomly somebody next to both of us was wearing an NWO shirt, and before you know it, we just started talking about pro wrestling. So him and I, it was funny because by the end of the convention, someone walked up and they're like, "You been having a good time?" I was like, "Yeah, I think I got a new best friend," you know, because we literally sat there for like 2 hours just BSing back and forth, and he was busy, like because all these people were coming up going, "I watch your show," and blah blah blah, and apparently like right now it's in limbo, so they're not sure if they're doing another season or anything of it, but because of that, he doesn't need to have an agent actually like make his convention appearances or whatever, so he can just, you know, get a table at a small show and just hang out and BS. So that was really cool. But you know, we talked about a lot of pro wrestling stuff and a lot of the stuff that you and I are probably going to tackle tonight, which includes you know, the president of TKO talking about multiple subjects, the new location of WrestleMania for 2027, and you know, some of the kayfabe or not kayfabe stuff that's been going on recently. So we'll get into all that in a little bit. We got Chris Barrett already in the audience. Nothing beats a good. You know what? Tino and I are getting ready to talk about what we've been watching, and Tino, if you don't mind, I noticed that The Conjuring has a new movie out, and you know, for someone like me who loves horror movies, I had never seen any of those movies, and there are at least 3 Conjuring movies. There's 2 Annabelle movies. I think there's 3 Annabelle movies, and then there's The Nun and The Nun 2, and then there's another one called the Curse of La Llorona, which is like a Mexican demon. So there's 10 of these movies now, and I had never seen a single one of them. And Max, HBO Max has them all. Now, I did them in title order. I didn't do them in chronological order. But so if you've seen, what's that?
Probably makes sense if you did them in their chronological order.
It would have, but then I would have had to like pull out my phone and actually go, okay, which one's next? Okay, which one do I actually start with? Which one? But so have you seen all of them?
I think I've seen. I know I've seen both the Nuns. What were they now? It was the Nun 1 and 2.
There's the Conjuring 2, which is
that one.
That one actually has it has a you know, subtitle name, but I can't remember what it is. And then there's the Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. And then there's the new one that's The Last Rites, which is in theaters right now. Okay, so
I don't know if I've seen the one The Devil Made Me Do It. I don't think I've seen that one.
All right, so there's 4 Conjurings. Okay, and obviously this whole shared universe of these movies started with The Conjuring 1. Then there's Annabelle 2, and Annabelle Comes Home.
Seen those.
And then there's the Nun 2, and then there's the Curse of La Llorona or Lenorla.
I don't remember seeing that one.
So that one actually has Linda Cardellini in it. So one of my favorite actresses. She played Hawkeye's wife in the Avengers movie. You know, and then you find out at the end that she was actually a SHIELD agent the whole time, which is cool. But yeah, it's all about how like she tries to stop this woman who she thinks is trying to kill her 2 kids. Come to find out that the woman's trying to prevent her 2 kids from being killed by this evil demon. And then, you know, so this one all takes place on like in like Texas and near like the Mexico border and stuff. And what's great about all of them is that they tie them all back together with either clips of the Warrens, who, by the way, the coolest thing about these movies is that they're all based on true stories. And Ed and Lorraine Warren are were actual real people until Lorraine Warren died about 5 years ago. And I watched a documentary on it. After I watched everything else, I watched the documentary on it just to see like how real is this stuff, you know? Because they were part of the Amityville Horror. They were part of, you know, so they were part of the Amityville House. And each one of these movies, so like the one that's in theaters now is based on like a family that moved into what used to be a funeral home. So that one just sounds pretty cool, you know, like, but so what I love about the films though is like when you get to the end of the movie, it's not even an after credit scene, but all of a sudden it'll be like Ed and Lorraine Warren at one of they're talking to people at a college or something, explaining like what they do for a living, because that's actually what they did in real life, is they would go around talking about the supernatural and whatever. And so like when you're watching The Nun, all of a sudden at the end of the movie The Nun, they're talking about something, and the woman from the very first Conjuring is sitting in the audience. So like I don't know if there's scenes, if they actually like filmed it at the same time knowing that they were going to tie them in, or if they just keep getting the same actors to reportray those little like snippet roles. But like even Annabelle Comes Home. That one, it starts with Ed and Lorraine picking the doll up from the Catholic priest and trying to get it home. And as they're taking it home, like that's when their part of the story ends, and the rest of it's all about how their daughter had an experience where her babysitter and her babysitter's friend all of a sudden like opened up the Annabelle cage and kind of let the doll out, and so I loved it, and like just the fact that like they created a shared universe out of all this stuff, where they don't always have to have Ed and Lorraine Warren's character, who's played by Ed is played by Patrick Wilson, who played he played in Watchmen, and he also played in Aquaman as Aquaman's evil brother in the first one, then guy he has to work with in the second one. And Vera Farmiga, who you might remember from Bates Motel.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, so she did all those seasons of Bates Motel, but she was also in oh man, why can't I remember the name of it? It's the Scorsese film with Jack Nicholson. She plays Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend in it. Anyways, so yeah, so like the casting is really well done. The I wanted to watch the first one just because like I saw Ron Livingston, the guy from Office Space, was the dad in it, and I was like playing a serious role. Like this guy also played Loudermilk, like so.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm gonna watch it, but I was very, very happy with like the way they were done, because they don't look like they're high budget movies by any means, but they've got a lot going on, and they've been able to come out with 10 movies, and the latest one, the first weekend, I don't know if you saw it, broke all sorts of rated R records because it became the highest grossing horror movie in the first weekend of all time, $174 million.
What?
$174 million. Became the number one first weekend box office for a horror movie ever.
Damn.
Pretty crazy, right?
No, Chris Barrett said he saw Lorraine Warren do a stage show at his high school.
I wouldn't doubt it. If he's up in the Pennsylvania, Ohio area, I mean they used to do stuff like that all the time up there. And that's how they never asked any of these families for money or anything as they were like investigating their houses. Wow. So what have you been watching? I said, so what have you been watching?
Caught up on Peacemaker.
Yeah. Okay.
Trying to think, not really, because now the Twisted Metal's gone. So I've been watching like Wednesday and Peacemaker. That's about it, really. Haven't been watching much TV. Oh shit. So one last thing about the Warrens, they obviously were so big in the community. I mean, they started doing this stuff in the 70s, and I think Ed passed away in 2009. But she was around till like 2019, or I think he was 2006, because in 2009 is when they sold the rights to make the Conjuring movie, which when it came out, I mean, it did 300 million at the box office, not in the first weekend, but overall it did 300 million at the box office, which for a horror movie, it's unheard of. That's, yeah.
I mean, yeah. So Strange New Worlds ended this week with its third season finale. I thought it was a really good season for that show. They kind of played into religion and stuff, which is kind of odd for Star Trek, because obviously it's all about taking science fiction and making it science fact kind of stuff.
Right.
Theoretical sciences and things like that. So the idea that they were playing on the idea of good versus evil, and possibly something so evil that it basically is what gives all of these civilizations like their theory of what the devil is, kind of thing.
Oh,
yeah. So we also have Gen V starting this week, so keep an eye out for Amazon, because unlike most of their programs, which say that they start Friday, it's supposed to drop Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're going to drop 3 episodes at the beginning. I heard it starts kind of slow and then it really picks up, but IGN gave it an 8 out of 10. So I'm looking forward to that. And The Conjuring, you know, with the movies, they basically said this one was the last movie that they're going to do, even though the Warrens apparently did like 2 or 3 more things after this.
Yeah, they've got to keep. Yeah, I think they got another. I mean, if they're doing this well, I mean, I'm sure they're going to come out with more shit.
Well, HBO Max announced that there are already plans to do a series for The Conjuring instead of doing movies going forward, which, you know, a lot of times these types of films, like if you really want to dig into what goes on with them, like you kind of do need a series for it, you know, but they could even do a procedural like a Law and Order where every episode is just one of these, because they did over 1,000 cases.
Damn.
Yeah, think about that.
So do you think they'll start like from the beginning?
I mean, they kind of did with the first movie. Like that was their, you know, it's weird because the first movie brings up Amityville, but the way that it actually happened in history was the first movie is actually like their first big case, and Amityville's not for like another 4 or 5 years after that. So they bring it up in this one. Oh, we don't like talking about the Amityville case, blah blah blah. But there's so much more that they could do, I think, with a series than they can do with movies, especially since it's not high budget stuff. So like you're talking practical effects, you're talking, you know, you're not talking needing CGI for too much stuff, I wouldn't think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and neither of those actors are really, I wouldn't think that they're against the idea of doing a series, because I mean they've done like snippets in each of these movies, you know, like I think there's only 2 of them that they don't actually show up in. So so I don't know, it would be interesting. So if they, you know, but you're right when you say, I mean, if they did 174 million in the first weekend on this one, what would stop them from saying, yeah, we'll just do another 2 movies? I mean, it is called Last Rites, so maybe they are trying to make it sound like it's the last one, but I don't know.
Think of us, just kidding.
Yeah. The Conjuring, not really the last one.
The Conjuring reconjured.
And it's funny because like all of them are called Conjuring movies for that main series, because the very first one took place in what they called the Conjuring House, where the woman ends up killing like her child and then hanging herself outside. And so and what's really cool about this whole story is, and it's not cool, it's kind of sick and disgusting, but is the fact that like the amount of land that they owned, they started selling bits and pieces of the land off. So they kept the main house where it was, and that's where most of the crazy shit happened.
Mm-hmm.
But like there was a boy that drowned in a lake like 1.5 miles down, because that's how much land they owned. Damn. So it was still on their land that this kid ended up dying. You know, the Amityville one is also kind of crazy, because it's like you hear about how a guy basically like killed 6 people in the house, like all of his family members, and then killed himself. And then, you know, like they did 2 movies of it. They did the regular version of it, and then they did the remake with Ryan Reynolds. And like that's the family that moves in after the fact. And they, like in real life, those people moved out. They just left everything in the house and just left 28 days later. Like they made it 28 days, and then they were like, fuck it, we're out.
I wouldn't have made it day one. It is an old joke that Eddie Murphy used to have. He said, if if the Amityville would have been starring black people, he said the movie would have been a whole lot shorter. He said, this is a beautiful house. I really love it here. Get out. Too bad we can't stay.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, so they made it 28 days. Like I said, yeah, And I'm with Eddie. That's the first time I saw something move by itself or heard, nope.
Dude, so like my townhouse has been here for 40 plus years. I don't know if you knew that. And there was one night, and I may have even told you this story, and it freaked me the fuck out. Because I live by myself. I don't have pets or anything. I wasn't pet sitting my sister's dogs or nothing like that. And one night I was in my bed, and all of a sudden I felt something pull my leg while I was like sleeping. And like sometimes
that motherfucker lives there now. You have all my furniture, the TV. You live here now. I'm gone.
But like this one time, I actually had like where my leg got pulled, right? And I don't know if it was like one of those leg jerks while you're sleeping, like in and out of sleep and whatever. But when I got up the next day, I had 3 scratches across my leg.
And that bitch will live there. Here you go, Mr. Ghost. I'm leaving keys on the counter for you. Fuck you.
You know what? If there is one that's here, I must have appeased it by now because that's the only time it bothered me.
Bobby said he's gonna scratch this, but he ain't gonna wear. Fuck it, I'm gonna leave him alone.
He got an Xbox. When he's not here, I'll play that.
He's not here.
You just have this dark glow playing an Xbox.
You come home and say, I wasn't playing that game. That's not where I saved it.
What, Condemned? What? Like one of those horror games, like Resident Evil or some shit.
So this who started my shit over?
Who saved over my game?
They got like old school. They put their initials in. You come on. Who the fuck is?
Boo. BOO.
BOO. That is funny.
Oh, so all right. Let's talk about some of the crazy shit that happened in the world of wrestling this week while everything was going on. We have a lot to talk about. We're gonna try to break down each of the shows last week, folks, by going over the results and if there was anything from each of those shows we want to talk about, and then talking about the results of Worlds Collide, and obviously we got to get to predictions for the 2 pay-per-view /PLEs this weekend.
And obviously the WWE con said he don't really give a shit if we can afford to go to his shows anymore. Kind of, yeah.
That was one of the first things I wanted to bring up.
Wow.
So TKO's president this week, Tino,
so pissed,
came out and talked about how he said that they haven't even hit the level of where the ticket prices should be yet, because and the reason why he quote unquote knows this is because UFC is priced so much higher than WWE tickets. And then on record, this son of a bitch actually said that, and we know it because Vince McMahon priced it so families could go to the events.
And I was watching someone on TikTok, and they were like, they're gonna make it to where people cheer Vince McMahon to come back, because it's like he and he's right though. He made the prices to where I could take my kids, and we've talked about this. Where we normally sit when we go to a show here in Raleigh, we usually pay what, $60, $80 at the most.
$80 after the fees.
At the most. And now we look, they're coming back to Raleigh here, where we normally $80 is what, 200 we saw? 150, almost $200.
It was like $225 to sit in nosebleeds.
And we don't sit in nosebleeds. We have good seats where we normally sit. It's ridiculous.
I want to point out
where they wanted to wear all the celebrities and all, and I saw someone on TikTok they wanted where celebrities can put it on their Insta or this is where I am and try to bring that crew in, but then you're alienating your fans who know who we know, like the Street Profits, and we know all those mid cards. The people they're coming, they only know like the John Cena's, the Brock Lesnar's, the Rock. They don't know these mid carders that we're there to see.
So Meltzer came out this week and actually posted on Twitter. He posted that to get in the door at AEW All Out this weekend, okay, to get in the door with the worst seat in the house, $31.
God damn it,
31. Okay?
That used to be WWE,
right? But 31 is fine, right? Best seat in the house, Like if you wanted first 2 rows, I think it was $226.
And I would pay that.
I mean, when we had the opportunity when Sting had his last match last March, where I actually said, hey, for $180 a ticket, we can go ahead and get front row Sting's last match, and you were like, I don't have it, and I was like, okay, I was like, all right, no problem, we won't do it.
I had it, I'd have done it.
But we were, because you had to buy the tickets either right before Christmas or I think you put brakes on your car or some shit like. And I mean, I was still like between jobs at the time, and I was like, I'll do it if you do it, but I'm totally fine sitting where we always do, which is like second row bleacher, just as long as we're on camera, and so we ended up getting those, and they were $80, and that was fun.
Phenomenal seats.
Yeah. Then so 31 to 226 for AEW. To get in the door at the WWE WrestlePalooza this Saturday,
$1,000
was like $250, and the front row seat was $8,100.
God bless.
And that motherfucker green shirt guy is sitting there front row, and I don't believe this whole he's a real estate guru.
Saw that too.
I don't believe that bullshit at all. That guy got punched, got hit in the back, in the front of the face by CM Punk 10 years ago. And he's been at every event since.
You sure it's the same dude? That's him?
It's definitely him. But now they're trying to spin the story that he buys his ticket. Fuck that. There's no way that guy shows up at every single event. And I mean, like, if you got money like that, he should have a hottie on his arm.
You damn right. Sidebar: did you ever figure out? Remember, we were talking about how to get, because I wasn't paying the ESPN, and you said that you thought you can get through Spectrum or something. Did you figure that out, or do you have to? Are you have to pay? Are you have to pay?
So even if I have to pay, like I was already getting ready to do the Disney Plus and Hulu, like, and I'd been waiting until this event to see whether or not mine actually already connect. Now it's interesting because from my phone I wasn't able to do it, but from my TV I was able to watch the football games this weekend. So I would assume that means I do have the plan where I can watch all their premium events. But if I don't, I was going to switch to the $30 plan anyway, because they're doing 12 months at $30 with all three.
So how do I know? Because I have ESPN like on my because it's on the the Disney Hulu, because on my Disney Plus, right? It has Hulu and it has ESPN.
Now, when you click on ESPN, does it give you anything?
Oh, let me look
see,
at it.
See that's how you figure it out, because like when initially I tried to click on Disney Plus, it said to activate this service, change your plan.
So I have Disney Plus, right? Just gotta wait for it to come up. So you said what when I click on ESPN, what am I looking for?
It should tell you it should tell you whether or not you can actually access that site stuff.
Hold on.
So if ESPN pulls other stuff up, then you should be okay.
We're gonna see. So,
or it might make you connect your YouTube TV account and see whether or not that's actually active with it.
Well, I'm on my YouTube, so I go to the ESPN tab, click it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And right now, I got like Enjoy from ESPN, the Rich Eisen show. Like right now, it's got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Houston.
See if you can click on that.
It says okay.
Does it say unlock?
Yeah.
Then you don't have it.
Oh.
Because you have to unlock ESPN to get it.
So I don't have it. Okay.
So you don't have it. So
you have it.
Like right now, I can watch all that stuff. Now I'm not watching it from my Disney Plus. I'm watching it from an ESPN app, but it's the same thing. It's just not the one that's connected yet.
Oh, so I got the ESPN app on this thing too, just for shits and giggles, because like I said, I might have to come over there. But I refuse.
I mean, like I told you though, if you already have Disney and Hulu and you're spending $20 a month for that, it's $10 for all three for a year. because it's
And then
third.
what happens after the year, though?
I'm sure they'll be offering another offer, or we'll all cancel. So while Tino's looking at that, let's pull up the other piece of WWE news from this week that is not making people happy, and that was WrestleMania 43 in 2027 was announced for Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Not watching that shit either.
And well, I mean, I'll watch it. Like I'm not.
I'll probably watch it later though, because so I was watching somebody on TikTok today, and he said it comes on 10 p.m. and he's on the Western, so that's California, and they're what? They're ahead of us or behind us?
They're behind us.
So if it's 10 a.m. there, it's 7 a.m. here. I'm not fucking get up at 7 in the morning and watch wrestling. You lost your damn mind.
You know what though? Think about it like this: we could be done with WrestleMania by like 2 in the afternoon. You could be eating your Fruit Loops watching WrestleMania, man.
So ridiculous. And they're saying that some people are saying that they think The Rock's going to be there because the Saudi, they always want the big names.
Dude, they already so apparently the Saudi government and folks, we are commenting just on rumors and speculation at this point, but the Saudi people that are in charge of setting up this and paying for it, because they paid out their ass to make it a WrestleMania event. So they're getting Royal Rumble this year and they're getting WrestleMania next year. So 2 nights of WrestleMania, which means they're also getting the Hall of Fame. Unless they decided they might actually push the Hall of Fame that year to something else, just because.
Well, if they do that, they got the Hall of Fame, they got the SmackDown, they got WrestleMania, then they've got the Raw. So they're there.
Yeah, and like they might move the Hall of Fame though, just because like they might not want to fly everybody over to set. Although for all we know, it could be people like John Cena having one more match at WrestleMania, even though he said he's not going to wrestle anymore. You go throwing 10 million at him for that one event, he might do it. Because I could also see him being the headliner for the Hall of Fame that year if they decide not to put him in next year.
Yeah.
So here are a couple things. I watched this press conference. First of all, it started like 10 minutes late, which I don't like. If you tell me it's going to be 3:00 on their YouTube channel, they better start at 3:00 on their YouTube channel, or at least have someone commenting about it before it starts, instead of just having me listen to the same music over and over and over again.
Were they in Saudi when they did it?
No, they were in Vegas.
Oh,
because they were all there for Worlds Collide later that night. But at 3:00 on Friday Eastern, they went from the building they were doing Worlds Collide, I'm pretty sure, and they announced it. They had Joe Tessitore, who did a great job making it sound like it's important, because everybody else, when you looked at them sitting there, because they brought out Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Stephanie Vaquer, Liv Morgan, Logan Paul, and Seth Rollins. So they didn't even bring Becky Lynch out. But here was the weird thing about it, Tino. They also brought out Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Triple H, and a Saudi guy with a hat that was like this big. Like his headdress thing was like this wide. It was pretty crazy. They had The Undertaker talk a little bit about it. He was like, I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great that, we're doing it, blah, blah, blah. Obviously him, Triple H and Shawn Michaels are best friends. So obviously he's going to take the company side on it. Triple H makes, a big announcement like about it. They don't talk to Shawn Michaels. He just stands there. They don't talk to Charlotte Flair. They don't talk to Stephanie Vaquer. They don't talk to Logan Paul. They don't talk to Seth Rollins. They talk to Bianca Belair, and they asked how important is it to have WrestleMania for women wrestlers in Saudi Arabia. And she talks, she talked a good game in the moment. But when they showed all of them standing there, none of them were smiling. They all had poo-poo faces.
Who did the rest?
All of the wrestlers. Every single one of them had a poo-poo face. And I mean, when I say poo poo face, I mean like they looked like that. And I mean that's not a good look for them. You know, and our buddy Shavar, Vice Presidente, said that, you know, he's now going to go to every WrestleMania that he can afford, right? And so I mean, he's been to like the last 3. He went to 25. I think he went to 26. And he said, "Yeah, I'm not going." You know, like you just took it away from me. Now, I'm not. What I want to know is what kind of ticket pricing are the Saudis paying to get into that? You know, because I mean, now on the other side of the spectrum here, one of the questions being posed around the wrestling community is whether or not Tony Khan will counter with stadium shows in the United States. And I don't know if he'll counter for 2 nights, but I would. And I'd put them
at the same prices he's been charging people too.
Well, I mean, obviously you'll have the inflation price for 2027 on there, but I would literally do, I would probably do Forbidden Door, and I would do like an all-star spectacular between all the different wrestling brands that want to be there. And it, you know, because this is what WWE is eliminating by doing this. They're taking away all those small brand ones that post up events all around the same city that WWE is bringing all those people in for. So they're doing away with all that.
I think they did that on purpose too, to make money.
I completely agree. Let's take a look at the comments, see what anybody. Chris Barrett says he likes the headdress.
Didn't you? That's the thing where they said that TKO is money. They're billions in debt.
What now?
So did I send you the TikTok where somebody said they saw that TKO was the reason why they're charging so much money is that they're in debt like billions.
No. So all right. Here's some facts that I'm going to spit out. Okay. Paramount and Paramount Plus just bought the rights to the UFC that will now make them PLEs, not pay-per-views, for $7.7 billion for 7 years.
So you can watch so when you say PLEs, you'll be able to watch it for free on Paramount, or you still got to pay?
They're doing away with pay-per-view.
It'll be free on Paramount.
Yes. So Paramount paid so much money that they are getting all events, including the UFC numbered events.
Shit. Well, I'm sure ESPN paid them a whole lot of money, so why can't we fucking get that free?
ESPN didn't pay nearly as much because they still allowed you to do pay-per-views. So they were charging $80 a pay-per-view. Now the world of pay-per-view is going away. TKO looked at how the WWE has been doing it with their services and everything. And they, you know, when Paramount finally got the merger with Skydance done, it was like the first thing that they announced. And apparently they'd been working on this deal since like January.
Damn. Check out Chris Barrett. He said he heard the same thing. Check out that comment.
I did hear that, Tino. They said that. Well, so here's some more facts that I'll spit out. I am reading what he's saying, but here's some other facts. They bought Professional Bull Riding. They bought Monster Truck Rally. So they bought up all of the Carney events. And now they're trying to make sure that they get, you know, return on investment on their dollars with it, right? But let's take into account they're getting $5 billion for the WWE over the next 5 years from Netflix, right? Or 2.5 billion because it's a 10-year deal that they can get out of at 5 years if they want. That's worth $2.5 billion. SmackDown's worth $1 billion. The PLE deal is worth how much? $325 million a year for 6 years, so $1.65 billion. So the WWE is worth $7 billion as well. The idea that they're saying that they, well, yes, okay, Chris Barrett's saying that PBR actually moved over to TKO, but yes, where they're spending the money is the things like their new boxing league that they're doing, which obviously Canelo Alvarez lost this weekend to Sean Crawford. Anyways, this whole thing, like saying that they're in debt by all this amount of money, they're not in debt. The UFC just by itself was worth $11 billion. They're selling out every event that they're doing. There's no way that they're not turning a profit. So saying that they're in debt, most big companies have debt because they don't pay it off, even though they're bringing in profit. So what they're doing is they're collecting interest on the money that they have rather than paying off the debt. Because business in the United States, thanks partly in due to at least one person in office right now, allows companies to maintain the debt rather than pay it off. And that's why we're where we are. And that's why you might hear that they have debt, but they're not in debt. They have debt.
So why? I just don't see if they're making all this money. I guess the rich get richer. Why are we trying to keep squeezing? Trying to squeeze. Squeeze blood from turnip to pay more money.
So all right. So the number one reason behind all of that is pretty simple. They are a publicly traded company. They have shareholders. Those shareholders have to see that the company is actually doing better year over year. If it's not, guess what happens? Someone like Paul Levesque gets fired, right? So them saying we're doing record business, we're doing record business, we're doing record business. That is what the shareholders need to hear. When I worked at GameStop, it was the same thing. GameStop shareholders would sit there and go, "Oh, we're losing money every quarter. That means our share price goes down." Somehow the share price still went up, right? And GameStop had no debt when I worked there. They had $8 billion in the bank or some dumb shit, 400 million. But I mean, they had $400 million in the bank at the time that I worked there with zero debt. They couldn't give me a raise, but they had $400 million in the bank. So don't think that this means that the company is in trouble, because it's not. The company's doing record business on both sides. The only ones that probably aren't are the PBRs and the professional, the professional bull riding and whatever.
So what's the difference in Endeavor and TKO? I guess
Endeavor was the parent company. TKO split off to become its own entity, so it's actually run by its own self. Now, some of the people on the board of directors for one are still board of directors on the other.
Okay.
But that's why TKO stock right now, you look at it, it's like $175 a share. When I sold mine, I sold it at like 145. And I mean, I bought it at like 32, so I didn't mind. That was a pretty good return on investment, if I say so. Because it also done splits and everything else, so I was pretty happy with that deal. But yeah, the company, the reason why they're raising prices, the reason why they're because people are still paying it. Now, the problem with that, and this is why the Shapiro comments are so unfounded and ridiculously stupid of him to say, are because it's a carny sport. It has always been a carny sport, which means it's people trying to earn the quickest buck possible. And Vince McMahon realized if you have a family of 4 or a family of 6, he made it affordable for all 6 of you to go. Did 2 things, by the way. It meant that 6 seats would be sold, so you'd actually have 6 people in a row. Whereas now what happens is if those tickets don't get sold to you and me, corporations buy those tickets, and then you still see empty seats. And it won't be too long.
So they care more about money than butts and seats. So the corporation bought it, and so you got empty seats. They don't care about empty arenas.
Well, they won't be empty because those companies are going to hand tickets out.
Okay.
Like when the Carolina Hurricanes weren't any good, my brother-in-law Andy used to do health services there. So like if someone passed out or something, he'd be the one that was called for emergency services. And 4 or 5 games a year, he'd go, "Hey, do you know anybody that wants tickets to the game?" And I'd be like, "Well, how many you got?" And he'd send me a picture of a stack of tickets like this. And there were still the old printout tickets, which was great, but like it would be a stack of tickets like this. And he'd be like, "You know anybody that wants them?" I was like, "I'll take 8, and I'm sure I can get 8 people to go." You know, like at this point, I can't even imagine what the cost of paying for parking at Raw or SmackDown is going to be.
Like it was 40 last time we went.
Yeah. And I mean, we used to pay that for the tickets, and now you pay it for parking. It's fucking ridiculous. But anyway, so greed has completely taken over. So when Triple H was saying something at AAA on Friday night, the crowd audibly was saying, "You sold out."
Ooh.
And here's what I'll say about it: Triple H is not on the board of directors.
No, he's just a creative. He's in charge of creative. He's not has anything to make those decisions.
He's the chief content officer. Now, granted, I am going to say that he probably gets asked, what towns do you guys do well in? What's going on with the business? Because he's there every day. Although he's not there tonight. He's actually on Kill Tony tonight. So, on Netflix. So he will not be at Raw for the second straight week, I believe. And that's going to bring me to my next point after we get off of this one. You ready for the next point?
Okay.
All right. Next point that I had to make was during the commercial break of Monday Night Raw last week, AJ Styles dropped the shoot promo where he legitimately said, and I'm on commercial, so I'm just going to go ahead and say this, even though I'll probably get in trouble. Somebody back there doesn't want me here. Now, I heard a rumor that this actually showed on WWE social media, so it probably is a work, but it's probably a shoot that became a work. AJ Styles is probably doing exactly what Karrion Kross did towards the end of his contract, where Triple H was like, "Go out there and say it. If it gets people talking about it, then we're gonna do more."
Well, you know what else? What they're going back to? They're going back to the pipe bomb.
Yeah, but WWE isn't putting this on their cameras. They're letting people capture it on their phones.
It's a new age pipe bomb. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I think that it's interesting though. It really is something different. But with rumor that Triple H wasn't backstage last week, I think that's how this actually was able to happen. You know, like Bruce Pritchard or whoever the agent was on the match probably said, "Go ahead, grab a mic during the commercial break and do something."
It was Abyss.
Chris Park.
Yeah, and Bruce Pritchard's look at him.
So here's the deal that, and again, we're commenting on rumors and
innuendo.
No, we're not. Rumors and what we have heard concerned.
You hate that. That's why I did it, because I know you hate it.
Yeah. So AJ Styles signed a deal to stay with WWE through Royal Rumble. Apparently, it was a short-term deal. It was after they added time on for his injuries, but it's supposed to end at Royal Rumble. He stated multiple times that he doesn't want to wrestle past the age of 50. He's 48. He may sign one more deal. But my biggest concern here, Tino, is that you are talking about you're talking about a Bryan Danielson level wrestler.
And I watched some of the because I catch some of the Van Vliet stuff either on TikTok or sometimes I'll catch it on YouTube. And I saw where he's like, the moves, he has to plan them out now, you know, because he doesn't want to, you know, he doesn't want to hurt himself. He puts them in the match in a specific spot and a specific time so he doesn't hurt it. He don't want to do it too late. You might want to do it not too early, you know, because he said it hurts. You know, he's just getting old. And it's not as crisp, you know, and he wants to make sure that it looks the best it can look at his age.
The problem that I see with all of this is, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, John Cena is looked at as a true to form WWE guy. And,
yep.
And that's why Triple H gave him his year, his 35 dates and you go out the way that you want to go out, John. Except
He's
that we even saw last week that that's not even happening because Washington D.C. paid for John Cena's final match, so he's not even doing it in his hometown anymore.
And John Cena's starting to look like a question mark, like Kurt Angle. You've seen him when he's kind of like hunched over, and I mean, his body is. I mean, he needs to be done.
Well, I mean that's why he's gonna be done. But
yeah,
but he, I mean, his last 3 matches have been 3 of his best matches that he's had in years. Why are you sitting so far back now? I purposely moved up so that we both have our cameras like.
Because I was leaning, and my stomach's like, you better want to sit back a little. I'm like, okay.
That's fair. But I mean, yes, John Cena's lost a step. AJ Styles has lost a step. That's 100%. He's 48 years old. That's going to happen. John Cena's 47. That's going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're right to stop now.
But the type of matches that John Cena's been putting on, they're specifically making them, okay, we're going to pace them out a little bit more. They're going to be a 40-minute match. But he's going to get his rest holds. He's going to get his breaks.
But look who they're putting him in the ring with. As much as we talk shit about Logan Paul can go.
Oh, well, John Cena's okay. I can't say that John Cena's handpicking his opponents because he flat out denies that he's handpicking his opponents. But that him and Brock it's going to be a 15-minute banger.
Yeah. Like,
it's just going to be a hard-hitting banger. And the question that I keep seeing, because I saw some TikToks this week that said that that John Cena kind of hosed Brock Lesnar on his first match back after being in the UFC because he was supposed to get stretchered out, and John Cena instead grabbed the microphone, said goodnight to everybody, and walked out the arena. And Brock Lesnar went in the back and started throwing shit, and I think that's why Brock Lesnar got his comeuppance at that SummerSlam match, where he just beat the shit out of him, and then announced Suplex City, and that was also when shortly after was when he did the same thing to Randy Orton with the elbows, which could have ended Randy Orton's career, when you think about it, and the crazy part about that is that all 3 of those guys started in OVW at the same time with Dave Bautista, wow. But okay, I don't like the fact that AJ Styles is not getting the same kind of treatment that John Cena is here, even though AJ Styles probably has another year that he's going to wrestle. The thing is that when I look at the entire time that Triple H has technically been in charge of WWE creative, AJ Styles has lost almost every single match that he's had. The closest he got to a win was his Mark Henry moment, and he still lost that match. They had him lose at Paris. He didn't even get to have the Clash at Paris match. He got the next night on Raw. Yeah. Like that's gotta be personal. There's no way that they're sitting there going, AJ, we know it's your final year. We're gonna put you in matches against Dominic Mysterio. Now, I've already told you Dominic Mysterio is the future. He's obviously doing all this great stuff in the ring and everything. But the idea that AJ Styles isn't getting the matches against Seth Rollins and isn't getting the matches against your top guys, and he's only getting your mid-carders is fucking ridiculous. The guy is still one of probably the five or 10 best wrestlers in the industry.
Oh, without doubt.
And yes, he's putting on bangers with Ludwig Kaiser under the El Grande Americano mask, but El Grande Americano isn't on AJ Styles' level. Drew McIntyre is on his level. Give him the Samoan Werewolf.
Give him Rusev even.
Yeah. And in fact, don't be surprised if all of a sudden Rusev goes right through AJ Styles tonight. Because he wants that Intercontinental Championship match, and obviously AJ had just gone for it a couple times. Yeah. All right, let's jump into some of the results from the shows because we're almost at an hour already, and I don't want to keep you long. So, all right, Monday Night Raw last week. This week, first week that they're on the same time as us, they're on at 7:00. We got the Usos promo at the beginning of the card. It was fine for what it was. They're obviously going to be taking on the Braun.
It's going heel.
he's about to be the new Big Show in terms of how often he moves around from being babyface and heel. Because I don't think he's technically going heel. They're just adding that attitude to him, like
he's that Yeet merch. I think, and I was watching some TikToks, and I think I agree.
The Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they'll probably lean away from all because where he's getting the crowd into it, and I want to say the comedic, but the fun Jay. He'll still probably do the Yeet, but
Did you see when he pushed the one kid out of the way? Yeah, it's like the kid's, and he's just like, get out of here.
Yep. But I'm wondering, and we'll talk about it. I'm wondering if that he turns on and causes them to lose that match with the Bronze. And he turns on Jimmy. Sorry.
I do. You know what? If he does go full heel, I do kind of see him taking out Jimmy, and and it's sad because
poor Jimmy.
Yeah, poor Big Jim, right? So AJ Styles had a match against Americano. He wins with the Styles Clash. It was fine for what it was. Dragon Lee had to come down and help support the match and blah, blah, blah. So I want to call the other one Vente Americano instead of Grande Americano.
Shut up.
Because they called him Americano, Dos Americano. And I was like, no, it should be Vente Americano.
Vente.
Next up, we had Lyra Valkyria versus Raquel Rodriguez. This one surprised me, Tino. I expected Lyra Valkyria to come out with the win, and they made Raquel Rodriguez look super strong here by giving her the 1, 2, 3.
And I'm wondering what they're setting. They're setting her up for something. Probably. I don't think they're going to push her. I was expecting Bayley.
I think Liv Morgan's getting ready to come back, and they're gonna push Raquel as the heel in that feud.
But they've got, well, the other one, what's her name? Roxanne will probably be doing something with AJ by then.
Either that or I mean, it's very possible that she just helps Raquel go over Liv for a while.
Yeah.
But I was shocked to see that this was just a bomb for the pinfall.
I really thought Bayley was going to come back and cost her that match.
Yeah, and didn't happen. AJ Lee returns. AJ Lee gave one of the best promos of the year. She got a chant for therapy.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
And she was even like, give me therapy, and then all of a sudden the whole crowd just starts chanting therapy. But it was great to see how good she was on the mic her first night back.
I think people forgot. She's always been like that. She's good on the mic. She's good in the ring. And then she even said, you're probably wondering why your parents are going crazy. She goes, I'm your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. I thought that was cool too.
Better be her new T-shirt.
Yep.
Like even if it's the AJ Lee logo on the front, the back better say your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler.
Yes.
Because that is like CM Punk having best in the world written on the back. He says it, so he believes it.
Mm-hmm.
She said it, she believes it. And all of those wrestlers in the back are sitting there going, yo.
Yep.
But hell of a promo. Becky coming out, them and I love the fact that AJ was like, I even forgot I was wearing this.
That shit was
right about the belt.
She did, because she's the whole promo. She never made mention of it. She never acknowledged it, and we're like, she's got the belt. Because even I was like,
we got a little weird at home because I slept in it last night.
That was funny.
And then of course, but they used it as a prop, and they used it the way that it needed to be used. It got more luster in that 3 days being with AJ Lee than it had the entire time it's been around so far. And because of that, I had to mention, and I had to make sure that we talked about it a little bit, but obviously after this tag match, I think we're going to have that singles match for that belt. And I think that you're going to see, even if Seth and Becky get the win at WrestlePalooza, which could happen, I think that you see AJ Lee take this belt off of her pretty quick.
So if she signed a multi-year deal, and just a side, I just want to see what you think. Do you think? I think there is. I want to see your thoughts. We see AJ with the world title run because she was a Divas champion. She wasn't around when they made it like the women's title, right? She was just a Divas champion. Do you think we'd have it, even if it's a short run of AJ with that women's world title?
I mean, I say you pencil her in as the number one possibility of winning the Royal Rumble right now.
Okay.
You know, and I'm going to say for the record, the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia is going to suck for me because you always like seeing the women coming out in their skimpy outfits, and they're not going to be able to do that. They're all going to be wearing like full on damn
Power Ranger suit. Somebody said.
Yeah, I'm not
Mania.
I'm not liking that. Now, unfortunately, for someone like me, this means that it's just another step back for Alexa Bliss, because Alexa Bliss, with the pop that she got at the Royal Rumble last year, they could have made the change and said, we're going with her tonight. And obviously they decided to rub some of that off onto Charlotte. And I've talked about that multiple times, and it worked. It's working now. Because Charlotte's actually getting over as a fun person right now, which is something she's never been in her career. But I would say AJ Lee immediately gets penciled in as, and if not, she's the one that gets knocked out last. I could see her being the second to last.
She'll beat WrestleMania next year. Will be her for the title, whether it's Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, or Money in the Bank. I can see her.
I mean, she immediately walked in and took a main event spot away from somebody.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that they're going to start her off in an intercontinental area, so that way she can get her feet wet, she can get her legs, back under her and everything. But I mean, and obviously she's going up against the best female wrestler in the world right now. So Becky will take care of her. I heard a rumor this week, and this is kayfabing a little bit, but I heard that CM Punk and Seth Rollins now have become very close friends again backstage. So, and I don't think that they were when he first came back, but I think now, even in interviews, you hear how Seth sits there and talks about how, like, you can tell the man has changed. So it's interesting to me.
I was about to ask you what changed, but so apparently he thinks that Punk's changed.
What's up?
I was going to ask you what changed, but apparently you just said so you think he thinks Punk, he sees that Punk's changed.
Oh yeah, I mean, everybody has seen that Punk has changed. His attitude right now is how can I help the rest of the brand? I mean, heck, he did Saudi Arabia after saying take your blood money from other people, right? Yeah. Penta versus Rusev. Penta goes down in this match. Rusev looking like the monster that he was at the beginning of his WWE run.
Yeah.
And, getting the rub from Sheamus was great. 8 o'clock, Tino.
8 o'clock. Take those meds.
But I mean, but even this match against Penta, like, never really felt like Penta had too much of a chance of winning.
Mm-mm.
Rusev says that he wants to go after that Intercontinental title. Penta actually, we'll talk about it at AAA, but he actually did say that he wants to go after the Mega Championship, which also is something we'll get into. Nikki Bella versus Asuka. What are they doing with Nikki? She signed a 6-month deal and they're using it.
Yeah, she was. That's because the point. Well, we know that she was coming in. She's supposed to be. Her and Liv were supposed to do something. Liv went out, so now they're like, shit. We got to do something with her.
LA Knight versus Bronson Reed, which I believe is your main event of the night. Basically ends with Jimmy Uso coming down to help LA Knight. Jay Uso, who said he left the building, comes running down. He helps LA Knight get rid of the Braun, and just as the show's getting ready to end and Jimmy's holding up LA Knight's hand,
he kicks the shit out of him.
Jay Uso comes by with
shit out of him.
I mean, it was sour chin music because it was like it knocked the taste out of next week. Okay.
I'm surprised he didn't lose a tooth. Usually, or spit fly. You don't usually get kicked like that. Oh my God.
Yeah, well, Well, Shawn Michaels got, if Shawn Michaels was even kicking like that, he was going to spit. So,
Yep.
all right. Next up, NXT. I'll try to go through these a little bit quicker.
Okay.
By the way, Ava had some interesting words to say about the Charlie Kirk stuff this past week. I won't really go into the Charlie Kirk stuff, but she basically said if you want people to say nice things about you after your passing, you should say nice things about other people while you're alive. And then when people came at her on social media, she said, I'm doubling down. Say nice things about people, and people should say nice things about you. Just be nicer. And you know what? Good on teeth. Good on teeth for that one. I mean, but good on her. I mean, my only post on that whole situation this week, Tino, was pretty simple. I said we should all be nice to people. We should all be nice. We should all the only way to make people nicer in the world is by being nicer to people.
Treat people better than you want to be treated.
It's sad but true. I would love to be treated well, but you know what? I'm going to treat people well because that's how I want to be treated. Josh Briggs versus Javon Evans. Admit it, you were surprised by the outcome on this one.
Damn sure was. I was.
like they had been pushing Javon Evans to be like the next world champion in NXT, and Josh Briggs runs through him.
Just bless you. I was disappointed.
I think it's getting ready to show that Javon Evans might actually skip that championship and move up. Where
my only worry is, and he's good enough to go up. My only worry is when they get up there, what are they going to do with him? It's a shiny new toy, and he'll be hot for like 6 months, if that, and then he's back down. Look, Carmelo Hayes. They're.
I almost wish they would go back to a 205 live show because he would be the hottest attraction on that. Him, Wesley, Carmelo Hayes. Hell, you put Chad Gable on there from time to time. Ludwig Kaiser, Phoenix. God damn! Like suddenly that show is getting some of the best ratings that you could possibly get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, Josh Briggs goes through him. Pretty surprising. DIY and Trick Mellow Gang. So obviously this week is homecoming for NXT. They're going back to Full Sail University for a night, and they are loading this card on Tuesday night, man. So we're getting a match, but is it a match between those four next week? So Trick and Mello are back together. That's a little surprising.
It is, because they even said, he said you talked about me, and he's like, yeah, I did talk about you, But I think they were like going to put that aside, and they're going to face DIY.
So next match up was Laney Reed versus Fabi Apache, which Fabi Apache is from AAA. Had a hell of a match against Natty at Worlds Collide.
Natty came out and cost her that match.
Yep. Dark State versus Hank and Tank. Hank and Tank lose the match. Ethan Page versus Tavion Heights. I love this Canada versus USA thing. They are literally. I mean, Shawn Michaels is loving this because that it reminds him of
him and Brett
DX versus the Hart Foundation all over again. Like he's just waiting. He's just waiting for Tavion Heights to grab that Canadian flag and stick his nose in it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Bleacher Report even said the flag match is an absolute barn burner. Tavion Heights defeated Ethan Page. Ethan Page did not put the title on the line, so he's still the North American champion.
Because he's putting that on the line this week.
Yes. The Culling versus Fatal Influence versus Sol Ruka and Zarya. We obviously got some got some weird stuff going on with Fatal Influence. The Culling gets the win here. and so that's Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dane, right?
Yep.
So that's pretty surprising.
I think they're going to start pushing them
because I mean, Sol Ruka and Zarya are like their creamsicle going on right now. Like they just love the two of them, and they have really good chemistry, like backstage and whatever. Like it's fun watching them. Of course, I think part of that's just because like I've said it multiple times. Sol Ruka just looks like the type of person that is a rave chick, and the rave chick that you almost want to take home to mom and dad. And a hell of a wrestler in the ring. She has really taken it on and been really good. Jasmine Nix in the match hit a perfect plex. Now, we also got appearances by Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley, who joined up with Stephanie McCare because they're going against Fatal Influence next week or this week.
JC was in the ring talking shit about how she's the best NXT champion and there's nobody better.
They brought out all the old ones.
Which brings out Stephanie at first, and she's like, "I beat you." And there's three of us, and she goes, "I one of you." She goes, "You think I came by myself?" And then it's Tiffy time, and so she brought up Tiffy, and she goes, "Yeah." And then she calls. She's like, "Something about and all you old timers." And then Stephanie says, "I don't think mommy was going to like being called an old timer." And when she said that, that crowd lost their fucking minds. And then Rhea's music hit, and they lost their minds even more. And the look on JC's face, she's like, and you kept, "No, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it." So, yeah.
The coolest thing about this is that that CWC only holds like 500 people.
That's why it's home.
Well, I mean, even Full Sail doesn't hold much more than that. I think I always thought they were the same place. They just renamed it, but apparently not. But they hold about the same amount of people. It might hold 1,000. I don't know, but like it's amazing. It's amazing to me when that place loses their minds because it blows the roof off the place. So good on them for surprising everybody with that, and obviously setting up a huge show for the CW, which I guess technically, if you think about it, it's almost exactly 1 year to the day that they started on the CW last year, because they started like October 2nd, and this will be like 2 weeks before that, but it's probably the season premiere.
Possibly, because it's what it is, September.
Yeah, mid-September. Yeah. So, all right, AEW. Now, obviously, we've got to make predictions on AEW's card for Saturday. Keep forgetting it's 2 Saturday shows rather than a Sunday show. But the things I really want to bring up, once again, they were in the 2300 building in Philadelphia. I love the way it looks for these matches. I love that light board that they're using to show everybody's names and stuff as they walk out. Because back in the day it just said ECW above it. Now they've got those light boards with everything. Hangman Adam Page versus Josh Alexander was your first match of the night. Poor Josh Alexander, taking the money, man. He took the money. Probably the NXT champion right now. But no, instead he's eating the pin. And by the way, found out just recently, the reason why Kyle Fletcher got the call to go for the World Championship at All Out is because originally it was supposed to be Wardlow. And he blew out his tricep just beating up the guy when he came back. Horrible. Bryan Danielson is now on commentary on AEW Dynamite. I thought he was okay.
Is that permanent?
It's supposed to be permanent. So Mercedes Moné and Emi Sakura versus Alex Windsor and Riho, and at one point Taz dropped a Jones on us, and I can't remember what it was now. Do you remember? Chris Barrett, maybe you remember what it was, but it was something like Arm Drag Jones or something like that. And it was like I was like, oh man, I should text myself that so I don't forget it. And I didn't. Riho and Windsor win the match. You still think that they're leading to Windsor beating Monet? I don't. But they had to give Riho and Windsor the win here to make Riho actually seem like she's got a chance on Saturday. And by winning the match, old school wrestling mentality means we know she doesn't get the match.
As I always say, the 5-year-old me. No, well, take that back. They still got this week. To make something happen.
So FTR decides they want to threaten the audience, and then they beat up the camera crew.
Man.
Now, isn't there a cameraman in AEW suing AEW right now?
That part. Tony's like, I don't give a fuck.
Let's see. Yeah, Shelton Benjamin versus Ricochet. What a fucking match. And I feel so bad for Shelton because if there was ever a time for Shelton to actually get his comeuppance and actually start winning some of these matches, this was the perfect match for him to win.
Mm-hmm.
But they couldn't. He had to lose this match. So, of course, Ricochet's supposed to go out there by himself, and then his Gates of Agony come out, and they're the ones that cause Shelton to lose the match, which is fine for what it is, but god damn, Shelton looks good.
And then Bobby came out, we hurt people.
Well, MVP came out. MVP came out with the
that's right.
And he started just whacking people with it, and then he got flown. I don't know. Cedric Alexander is showing up in this, by the way. It's a good time for it to happen, but he's still got DPW stuff coming up, so who knows? But Ricochet getting a solid 1-2-3 on Shelton, especially when they've been talking about how the Hurt Syndicate doesn't want to put people over. That's pretty big. Danielson heaped praise on the gold standard throughout, and yeah. Then we got the street fight, Tino. We got the Sandman Tony Storm versus Sky Blue.
Her stick did say Sandman, and she did the beer can thing. So it was awesome.
I mean, the only thing that would have made it better is if she had the cigarette hanging out of her mouth. Versus Sky Blue in probably Sky Blue's coming out performance.
Yes.
She was awesome in this match. The things that Tony Storm allowed her to do. Tony Storm is now pierced in 3 more places.
Well, so is Sky Blue in 2 places because she got her butt back with this.
Yeah.
She got no. There's 4. 1, 2, 3, and she got her butt, got her front, and got both her titties.
Oh, right. So hell of a street fight. This lived up to it, man. And both women allowed themselves to be put through hell.
Yes.
It looked like a Swerve Strickland hardcore match. I was very
I did enjoy it. It was entertaining.
I was very surprised with how well it went. Bleacher Report gave it an A-. All I know is I was listening to a radio show after AEW got done because I was not home yet from running trivia, and the host asked one of the callers where you would say that third staple gun shot went, and the female caller was like, I would call that the coochie.
Awesome.
The $500,000 10-man match. The Ops and Brodito versus the Death Riders and the Young Bucks. And before the match, Moxley actually told the Young Bucks if you guys win this match with us, we give you all the money. So one, I don't know why Tony Khan just sits there and says, let's throw $500,000 at these people anymore. He's already paying them millions. Like,
my other favorite part of this match was when they came down, it looked like they had mug shots and they had their real names.
yes. Matt Ron John Jackson.
And I looked it up. I'm like, oh shit, that is his real name.
Yeah.
What was up with mug shots?
I don't remember them ever being arrested. So, you know what it might have been? Is high school pictures. Because they did look like high school yearbook pictures. They get the win, and they get it, and then there's in the worst "Who is the masked man" moment ever in pro wrestling.
Let's talk about the money flying everywhere.
Yeah, they just won $500,000, but suddenly $50,000 of it's just in Philadelphia somewhere. Yeah. but it was the worst. Here comes a guy in a hoodie. Who is it? We don't know. Moment ever in pro wrestling, because Daniel Garcia ripped the thing off even before he started hitting the guy.
Remember last week when I said
Daniel Garcia's turning heel?
That, and he was going to, I thought, because we were talking about, because I was like, what's her name is paying too much attention to him, right? I thought that they did it before I thought they were going to do it, because I thought Moxley was going to go away. And remember, I said I thought Garcia was going to come in, and I thought that he was going to take over, and then Moxley came back. He was going to have a problem with Moxley. I don't know if they're still going to do that. Or
I don't think they're going to have him have a problem with Moxley. I think what's going to happen is Moxley's going to get taken out in the body bag or in the coffin, and Garcia's going to be the one that steps up. So I think it's going to be a natural. There's going to be an opening, and he's going to be like, while Moxley's out, I'm the guy.
It's almost like Judgment Day, because I'm also noticing, I don't know if you've been paying attention either, too. Will Yuta's been talking a lot to Chris Statlander. So I'm almost wondering when
well, I mentioned that last week.
When Garcia steps up,
are they going to kick Yuta out?
Shafir and Moxley get out, and you know what I'm saying, and Chris Statlander takes Shafir's place.
I mean, they could. The interesting thing there is, like, Shafir really doesn't do shit.
Well, you know what I mean.
No, I do know what you mean. But like having her in the group and having her actually like drop dudes and stuff is great. But
she's modern day China to Moxley's Triple H.
And they're both like half their size.
Yeah.
So that ended Dynamite. The Daniel Garcia thing was such a letdown to me. Just like the way it happened. He blew, like, you had one job, motherfucker. One fucking job.
No, he hit him. He knocked him down, and then he took the hood off.
Yeah, but he did it immediately. You know, normally they go, "Who is it? Who is the masked man?" And then you get the slow reveal, and it's like, oh, it was he knocked him down and just went, and there he was. And it's like what the fuck? So not happy about that. All right, SmackDown. Let me pull it up. I've got it. I just gotta open it up. Here we go. SmackDown. Oh wait, I don't have the results for Worlds Collide, but I'll find them. Just 8 days before they present their first match on ESPN, Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre set up that they're going to have the main event match at the end of the night. Mm-hmm. So that was good. Then we got Blue Shorts Brock.
Dude.
Brock Lesnar went from being the biggest heel to being a babyface in that segment.
Because and I think that's part of the thing when you're a heel, you can, we always talk about if you're a heel, you can fuck up, you can trip and fall, you can do shit. But when he split his own pants and laughed at himself and mooned the crowd, yeah, you're right. It just automatically they weren't booing him, they were cheering him.
Well, that's because he started twerking.
I never want to see that again.
Well, I am going to say this. The joke that never got made by WWE this week was that John Cena ripped Brock Lesnar's pants for what he did to Ron Cena. Because it would have been the "you can't see me" thing, right? And they could have said that he ripped his pants. Did you see? So okay, this segment was weird. It did not go over as well as I thought it was going to. Brock Lesnar really. So who are you? What are you doing here? So he's not really here. What? First of all, Brock Lesnar, if you paid any attention to the programming at all, John Cena said last week was his final night on SmackDown. He's not there. Then R-Truth coming out telling him that his name's R-Truth, and then he said, "So what's your name?" And then he says Ron Cena, and then he's like R-Truth. Ron Cena. Would have been better if he was wearing the Ron Cena gear as he came out to confront him.
At first, I thought that Brock was trying to just fucking with him.
I think he was. I think they just said, "Brock, go out there and do what you do." But I am going to say there was a great picture posted by Ron Killings this week on social media where it was him and John Cena Sr. And it said, "Me and the Pops just hanging out." And then it said, "Hoping the best for my big bro."
He's so stupid. He's so stupid.
It's so good though. Like it made up for all of this stuff like perfectly. But Brock Lesnar splitting his pants and then looking at Stu, the cameraman, and going, "Stu, blue underwear. I split my pants." Like he immediately became a babyface again. You couldn't help but cheer it.
Yeah.
All right. Sami Zayn versus Rey Fenix. I think I even gave this its own little thing. I did. Sami Zayn reminding people why we love him in the ring. And
Reminded me of El Generico.
this match, by the way, was a first time ever match.
Yep.
Now, the whole time, though, Booker T, which, by the way, Michael Cole missing only his 4th live event in history since he started. But it was Vic Joseph and Booker T on commentary, which made me think that Michael Cole was going to be at AAA, and he wasn't. So I don't know. Maybe it was Michael Cole's anniversary. Maybe he actually was ill. I'm not sure. But Booker T makes mention of, if it's an open challenge, Sammy's not supposed to know who his opponent is, but he was talking to his opponent before they actually went out there for the match. So Booker T playing the good heel commentary, but making a really good point. Just wanted to point that out. Sami Zayn gets the win. B+ match. Tried for the haluva kick, missed the first time, hits it the second time. 1, 2, 3. And it was just a good match. B-Fab versus Julia. Yeah, it was what it was.
Yeah.
But then we had the Women's World Championship match, Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill.
I was so pissed.
They went like 22 minutes. They went through 2 commercial breaks.
I thought Jade was going to do it.
They go outside the ring. I thought Tiffany was knocked out when she went through that guardrail. Because even the referee came up and started like grabbing the fist and everything, like checking to see if she actually had like feeling. And that's when the what do they call her? The immovable force.
Oh yeah, what was it?
Irresistible force. Nia Jax comes out and proceeds to take down both of them. And when Tiffany Stratton got in the ring and she bounced into the ropes and looked like she was going to try for a kick, Nia Jax just flattened her. I mean, like anybody that thought Tiffany was getting some offense in this moment, Like, and all she could have possibly been thinking was, oh. And Nia Jax just drags her over into the corner and then flattens her as softly as possible. And then we get Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, which was basically the same exact match. Except the referee stops Randy Orton from punt kicking Drew McIntyre towards the end of the match. After he stops him from doing that, McIntyre ends up hitting him with the Claymore 1, 2, 3, getting the win. So it was a clean victory, which I guess they did and very well could set up Cody Randy later if they want to. But Cody Rhodes' music comes on as Drew McIntyre looks like he's getting ready to do the same type of Claymore through the announce table through the side of the announce table that he did to Cody Rhodes. Cody comes running out with his windbreaker on, takes it off, and he's missing his sleeves, and he yells, "The champ is back!" Because he couldn't steal John Cena's line. And he immediately announces that they'll have a match at WrestlePalooza. So okay.
You already knew that was happening.
So that was SmackDown. Now let me look to see if I can get Worlds Collide's results. I had it. I don't know where it went. Did you watch it?
I need to go back and watch it. I was in Hickory and I forgot about it.
Dude, I will say this. Those big events that they're doing, they're selling them out, and they're selling out like 25,000 person arenas and stuff for AAA, which was not getting those types of audiences before this, right? And I also want to point out that since going to TKO and being part of the WWE, the people that they are showing on TV and the people that are showing up on SmackDowns and these World Collides and everything receive new contracts. And they're getting paid like WWE talent now. So they are much more secure in their home lives.
So
like
awesome. the lucha wrestlers, or
yeah. So like Mr. Iguana and Pagano and
the doctor
Psycho Clown, So I got to talk about some of these matches, and then we got to jump right into those predictions. So I'm going to start from the bottom, which was the 8-man tag team match. It was La Parka, Octagon Jr., Laredo Kid, and Mascarita defeated Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, Lince Dorado, and Mini Abismo Negro. He sounds like a beer. This match was fine for what it was. It really came down to watching the minis sit there and do what they do, because there's nothing like it. And the two that they have really are probably the best in the world at it. Number one contenders match for the Reinas de Reinas Championship. That was Natty versus Fabi Apache. It's so weird seeing Natty versus seeing Natalya, where Natalya is wearing the all pink and looking all happy and everything, and Natty goes out there and just wants to beat your ass.
Oh damn!
And she beat her with a roll up, but it was like she was put into a roll up, and then she turned it into a roll up the other way after Fabi Apache tried to do a sharpshooter to Natty. So
match.
Yeah. And then after the match, they kind of went back and forth at it again. And immediately you heard Conan. So the commentary on this was Corey Graves as your play-by-play, JBL and Conan as your other two. And immediately Conan sits there and goes, "Run it back, ladies. I'd love to see that one again." And so would I. It was great. But what made it great was seeing Natty be great, because on Raw and on SmackDown they just abuse her. Okay. It's like AJ Styles all over again. Mixed tag match. This was probably my favorite match of the night. it was Mr. Iguana and Lola Vice versus Finn Balor and Roxanne Perez. I also want to make sure that people know that this was a three-way mixed tag match, because it also featured Laesca, the actual iguana, and Demonito. And at the beginning of the match, Finn Balor has Demonito in a bag and puts him down, and Mr. Iguana takes the bag and throws it under the ring. Now, here's where it got cool, because as they're going through the match, all of a sudden
they're fighting with puppets.
No, they weren't. Like Mr. Iguana throws the Laesca at people all the time, but like Demonito was underneath the ring, right? And then all of a sudden, like Mr. Iguana goes into the corner and gets ready to like kick Roxanne Perez, and suddenly Demonito comes up from under the rope, like the apron, and he's just like, the little puppet is sitting here, like, he's not attached to Finn, he's not attached to Roxanne, he's just going off, and all of a sudden you see Finn look at him and go, "Ito, what are you doing? You're gonna get hurt." It goes over and he like pushes it back down under the ring again. And then later they do have him, and like you actually see like Demonito sitting there like throwing around the iguana and whatever. And then towards the end of the match, Finn Balor's sitting outside the ring, and he's got Demonito in his hand, and Mr. Iguana sits there, and him and Lola Vice like are right in the middle of the ring, and you see Mr. Iguana go off the back of the ropes, and then as he's coming out, he just throws Laesca, and it just takes Demonito right off of Finn Balor's hand, and he's like, "No!" And he's like sitting there like trying to save the demon puppet. And Lola Vice gets the win over Roxanne Perez, which is huge because they then show JC Jane in the audience because of Homecoming this week, and they've got a match for the Women's World Championship, either at this or at the PLE that they've got coming up. But then Finn Balor posts a picture of him holding the demon puppet, and he's like, "Ito needs some relaxation, rest and relaxation after all that. He's okay. He's not concussed." But
I need to go back and watch that match.
I may buy a Demonito puppet because it is fucking cool. The Latin American Championship 4-way, which was El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. versus Dragon Lee, Ethan Page, and JD McDonough. What I don't like about these matches is that it's 3 WWE guys and 1 AAA guy. And Ethan Page looked great during this match, but basically like gets kicked out of the ring right at the end, and then El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. gets the victory.
I understand, because the son of Dr. Wagner Jr. doesn't make any sense to me.
So while he's the son of, so he is technically Dr. Wagner the third, he's only the second Dr. Wagner wrestler.
Got it.
That's why in Mexican lore you make him Dr. Wagner Jr., the wrestler. So okay, and then the main event, the AAA Mega Championship match, El Hijo del Vikingo versus Dominic Mysterio. Dominic tells the Judgment Day to stay in the back. And after about 20 minutes of going through this match, and it was a good match between the two of them, Finn and JD McDonough both come out. And we have a new AAA Mega Champion.
Also, didn't Ray and
So earlier in the night, I think this is where you're going. Dominic had a conversation with Ray in the back, and Ray he was basically saying, "Hey, being a deadbeat dad, why don't you do the right thing after I win the championship and actually put it around my waist tonight?"
No. I thought Ray they ran Judgment Day back. Ray and
Dragon Lee.
Yeah, they ran the rest of Judgment Day.
Not before it ended up getting them to where obviously it distracted Vikingo. But Ray comes back down to the ring because Dominic sits there and he goes, "You said you'd put this around my waist." Which, by the way, just so everybody knows, this was a title that Rey Mysterio never held even though he was in AAA for a while.
Yep.
So Ray sits there and hands him the belt, and
snatches Ray,
and he grabs him and just shakes him a little bit, and he says, "You're going to put this around my waist because you're a man of your word." And Ray does put the belt around him, and then Ray walks off as all of the Judgment Day comes down to congratulate him because now Dominic is a double champ. And
I was too. They are testing the waters to see how people react. They put that title on him because it's not going to be long. I'm telling you, till Dom's a world champion in WWE, and I think this is a kind of a test to see how the audience will react.
It's funny because the easiest way to gauge that would be to give him Money in the Bank, because then every time he threatens the idea of cashing in, you see how the crowd reacts to it. And yet they keep doing all of these people that have been world champion before winning it. But I'm going to say this. I don't know if I like the idea of them doing a 3-hour show immediately following SmackDown ending at 10 o'clock, especially since I had to be up at 7 in the morning. But I stayed up for the whole thing. I enjoyed the entire thing. Those guys and ladies in AAA that are on these cards, it's always the same ones, which is a little disappointing because I'd like to see some of the other people that they have under contract. But everyone that they keep showing deserves to be on television. So they've been killing it, and they're doing great with it. So, and I didn't even put this up there, but yeah, that was that. All right. You want to do All Out first, or you want to do WrestlePalooza first?
We can do All Out.
All right. Now, All Out, I think there's there's probably going to be 3 more matches that they haven't even announced yet, just because Tony Khan's going to put on 17 matches on the card. But we'll go ahead and we'll start it. Here you go. MJF versus Briscoe Tax and Tables match.
TNT.
Who do you got? You want Briscoe.
Yeah, but I know it's not going to be.
I think this is the kind of match that Briscoe can win and should win, especially since it's not your standard wrestling match, or obviously it's not going to end with a disqualification. I would assume that at some point Max is going to use the diamond ring, but I don't think that that's enough to take out Mark Briscoe.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to go against my better judgment here and say Mark Briscoe wins this match.
Okay.
And it could be because someone from CMLL actually causes MJF to lose.
That part, yeah.
Here's one of the interesting ones, because it's Okada. Sorry, I spelled it wrong. Okada versus Takeshita versus question marks. Yeah, Okade versus Takeshita versus question marks. I don't even know who's the other one that could be in this match for Okada's championship, but it was a little tournament that they were doing, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. They hadn't finished the tournament yet.
I say Okada continues to hold the belt.
Yeah, because I think there's going to come to a one-on-one with him and Takeshita at some point.
Takeshita, come on! I've even said it wrong twice on purpose for you, but Takeshita. All right, now I'm going to put these in the order that they should be, but probably not the order they're going to show up on the card. So Monet versus Riho. Monet. Then it's probably if it's the way that it should be on the card, Cope and Christian versus FTR. It's got to be Cope and Christian.
Yeah.
And I bet the big spot happens from Big Stoke.
Yeah.
Then if it were me, the way that I would do it is I would do this match. But see, this is where I'm saying, like, the way that they'll probably have it is this match will be before the Monet and Riho match for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
I'm going to go with, and you're probably going to be surprised.
Jamie Hayter.
Nope.
Okay, then.
Stat. seeing her new affiliation. I think this is when the affiliation with the Death Riders are coming to fruition.
I mean, it's a good idea. I think it's a little early, but it is the perfect kind of match to get the belt off of Toni Storm. I don't think Tekla's ready for it. I don't think Jamie Hayter's been shown very well recently. They keep trying to make her look strong, but they're doing it in a horrible way.
I'm saying that Death Rider tie-in. That's why I'm saying Statlander.
It's a good guess. It's a good vote. And you know what? I'm following you on that one. I'm going to go with Statlander. They keep putting her over on commentary, which I know doesn't mean anything in AEW because they put over Jet Speed every week.
And if you saw the Collision match, they had the $500,000 women's champion, and what's his name was out again, and Statlander's like, leave me alone. I think it's a setup. I think this is where it pays off.
And again, it's perfect. And Wheeler Yuta is enough of a bitch wrestler to where the women can actually have their way with him, and yet still cost Statlander to win the match. Like, I could see him taking a couple bumps here for the women.
Mm-hmm.
Darby.
Yeah.
If Darby doesn't win, what was the point of saying he's going to take everything away from Moxley?
I think Darby wins, and I think we get a return. I think Darby wins, but I also think we get either a Orange Cassidy or Jack Perry return as well.
I don't know where Jack Perry would fit in this, but I do like the Orange Cassidy idea. I think him and Darby would actually make a very interesting alliance. Not even saying tag team, but an alliance. But the unfortunate thing with AEW is if the two people are seen having a tag team match at least once, they suddenly have a tag team name.
Yeah.
And before you know it, they're just run as a tag team rather than it being singles. But I do like that concept, and I was actually going to mention the same thing. So the only reason why I would do it would be to get Daniel Garcia out of ringside. And then so far the only other match announced: Hangman versus Kyle Fletcher for the world title.
Hangman.
It's against the whole Don Callis family, but you can't put the belt on Kyle Fletcher.
Not yet.
Has he been having the best year of his entire career? 100%. He's not ready. And we talked about it last week where I was like, you can't run Mark Briscoe as the world heavyweight champion because he's not going to bring you ratings. There's no way Kyle Fletcher brings you ratings. Will he put on a 5-star match? Absolutely. But does he bring ratings? I don't think so. And out of them, Don Callis could possibly bring you ratings, but the only reason why you want to see Don Callis on TV is because you actually want to see him get castrated. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right. Yeah.
All right. Now we got and this, I did not split this up, but my iPad must have. So
I don't know. Is this whole card set in stone now too?
There's at least 5 matches set.
So you think they would probably add more? That's I guess what I'm asking, because you still got Raw.
I don't think so, because WWE typically runs these 5-match cards now.
Okay.
They might add one for like the pre-show. I could see them. I don't know, because I don't think there's anything that's really like deserving of a big time pay-per-view match, except maybe a men's tag team match. Like right now I would do but they just did New Day versus somebody, and Xavier Woods literally just had a lymphoma taken out of his brain. So, it's Grayson Waller being the Owen Hart of the New Day. So, I mean, it's nice seeing him get the rub from an actual like over heel team. But I also kind of feel like at this point the New Day is kind of like already run its course being a heel team.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Usos versus the Braun Browns. You think Jimmy Uso is going to get super kicked? Now, is it going to be an accidental super kick the first time? So in the match, is Jay accidentally going to kick Jimmy as Jimmy's holding up like Bronson Reed?
I think he's going to try to make it look like an accident. I think he's going to kick. It's going to be one of those. He kicked him on purpose, but he's going to try to play it off like it was an accident. You know what I mean?
I don't know. With it being his brother, and just 2 weeks after him saying "I need you," I kind of think this one's going to look like the accident, but it's going to end with the shoving.
Okay. Who wins the match, though?
Well, if that happens, it's the Braun Browns. Which, by the way, the Braun Browns need a win.
Yeah.
The Usos technically aren't a tag team anymore, and the other two have lost 2 straight tag team matches that included Roman.
True that. Okay.
You know what I mean? So at this point, they need a win to actually continue to look like they're devastating. Though, you know, it'd be interesting is if Solo's family tree decided they wanted to get involved and actually cause the Usos to lose.
I think they're going to be wrapped up with because I think Solo's looking at getting his belt back, so I think they're concentrating on that.
They did mention that, and I found it weird that it was like 2 weeks in a row that none of them were on the program.
Yeah.
Next up, I have Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer for the vacated women's world title. Io's had it multiple times. I could see her winning only because I could see Asuka fully like beating her down after the match. Except I'm getting really tired of like the post-match beatdowns and whatever.
Like I said, and that's the only thing that stops me from saying Io is because she's had it so many times. I think Stephanie will get it.
I think it's a nice new push. And isn't it interesting that, you know, they separate Stephanie Vaquer and Julia's in the US title picture, and Stephanie immediately gets skyrocketed to the now granted, part of that is because of that devil's kiss move that she does.
And so, I want Booker to be on commentary for this match.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, man. Shucky ducky quack quack. Yeah. I'm not sure the order of these next 3 matches, so I'm just going to put them up here. I think this one actually starts the show, by the way. Cody and Drew McIntyre for the Undisputed Championship.
We've talked about it. While I do believe it's time for McIntyre to have that championship, I think they're going to hold off on that. And I think it's going to end up being a 3-way at some point with Randy. And I think McIntyre might win it then, because I think Randy and Cody will go off on their own to do something.
It works. I think that you're onto something. I hope that, I mean, obviously we've still got Perth coming up, which obviously they're going to put something big together. Surprising that they didn't do Brock and Cena in Australia, but obviously they didn't. I could see this being a no contest.
You think Randy comes out and causes a no contest?
Actually, that would set up a really good triple threat match at Perth. But it isn't because Cody cost Randy the match. So I don't know if you do that. But that absolutely would set up Randy and Cody for a long-term run going through through Royal Rumble, at least, if they wanted to. But if they do that, does that mean that Drew doesn't win the belt? Because I mean, I'm thinking like if you want to go with Randy turning heel on Cody, that's cool. But you would almost think that that would still be for the title then, you know? But I could see McIntyre sneaking out a win in that triple threat match if we're talking about that. And then him and like Jacob Fatu going for the world title at like Royal Rumble. Drew holding on to it and then losing at WrestleMania to Cody or something like that.
Mm.
You know, I don't like if Cody's gonna be one of your top baby faces, although I could see them turning Cody heel because like right now he should be angry, right? So I could see him turning heel on Randy. And then but again, at this point, one of the two world titles needs to flip-flop a little bit. I'm not saying that it needs to happen a lot, but there has to be movement on them. We can't have both titles being stagnant on one person, and I don't see them taking the belt off of Seth anytime soon. In fact, I would say that if they're going to go into WrestleMania, I really don't want to see them push Seth and CM Punk all the way to Mania. I'd like to see that have a
give it a break. You know, that Seth Punk find another person, and then maybe come Royal Rumble time that sparks it back again.
I mean, with the work that LA Knight's been putting in, I'd love to see LA Knight get a little run. And I'm not even saying it has to be long. I would say you do it at Perth, and then you have him lose it at like Survivor Series, or you hold it off to like the December Saturday night's main event. And then since that's John Cena's last match, you sit there, you have LA Knight lose the belt there. Whoever goes into Royal Rumble with it, and then CM Punk gets it back at WrestleMania. So I could see them running that kind of thing. And I know we're talking about Cody and McIntyre, but one of the two belts needs to move a little bit. I don't like this like stagnant titles. You know, like when Roman had the one belt for 4 years, we got tired of it.
Yeah, he had both. He was like unified. He was both brands. So yeah.
Yeah, but then you look at it and it's like the other one has been flip-flopped on twice on the same night because of Money in the Bank. And like, why hasn't the other one had that happen? I don't know. In this match, I'm gonna say McIntyre, but I'm gonna say McIntyre by disqualification. So I'm gonna say he does not win the belt, but he wins the match, and I'm okay with it being because of Orton.
Okay.
CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth and Becky.
Mm.
I think we get the return of Paul Heyman. I see AJ Lee running him around the ring. I see Seth and Becky getting the win here.
Really?
I know it. If this was a one and done, no chance. Since AJ Lee has signed a contract and she's going to be there a while, I totally see Seth and Becky getting the win.
I don't think if they do, I don't see it being clean.
No, that's why I said we get the return of Paul Heyman. We might even have interference from the Brons.
Okay.
Oh my God, could you imagine Bronson Reed tsunamiing AJ Lee?
Punk will never let that happen.
Oh, he would let it happen. He would let it happen.
Bronson might be slapping that night and hurt her and get his ass kicked for real.
You're not wrong. Yeah, that's where the worry comes in. But I mean, you want to get him over as a monster heel? You take out a 90-pound woman with the tsunami. And then, just to rub it in, you do it again.
Okay.
WWE doesn't like doing that. I know, but whoo, doggy. All right, we're sitting right at the 2-hour mark, and I apologize, Tino. We went a little long on some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Brock and Cena. Does Brock rip his shorts?
Probably, but Cena's going to win. He's on his last leg. I don't see him. Super Cena's back for this last go around.
Is it like the match at Extreme Rules where Cena ends up winning, but Brock Lesnar runs the entire match? Because, like, what's the point of bringing Brock Lesnar back if he's not going to get a win? And remember, I already said that John Cena technically only has one babyface win in the last, 7 years. That was against Logan Paul.
That's
All his
why
other... Yeah, he's got to.
Yep.
He's got to. One last thing, and then we're out of here. The last thing is Andrade apparently was released by WWE again, and it has nothing to do with Charlotte Flair.
Nope. It's his recreational. That's what I hear.
Well, the interesting thing is Pop's not on their list anymore.
So it must not be recreational. So would it be steroids? Because it said something. This is their health and wellness something. So I wonder if it's growth and hormones or whatever, or steroids. Or
I don't think he'd be taking steroids, but I could see it being something that they end up finding out, oh, this was in a supplement you're taking. I don't know. It's weird to me because Triple H is high on Andrade.
And Andrade was high.
Well, that's what we're hearing. We honestly don't know.
We don't.
Once again, we go with the rumor here, and
here comes Tony Khan. Oh, before is he was hard to work with, or blah blah blah. Now, he didn't burn any bridges here. He can always come back. Come back for what, bitch? If you go back, you're going back to the same position you were in.
I could have another hour-long conversation about that because you can already see what Rusev is doing since being back in WWE. And, Rusev apparently did become difficult to work with. Obviously, it's because he got put in that cuck position by Vince McMahon because him and Lana announced their marriage when they were supposed to be in an angle against each other at one point.
And did we bring Lana / CJ back?
CJ Parker? No, she signed a Legends deal with WWE. So she does appearances for them and stuff, but that's all she signed to. So I think the Andrade thing is going to be a continuing story for the next couple weeks. So we'll keep an eye on it. I did want to mention it while we were here talking about this. But other than that, last thing that I've got is that voting on Zor ends in 2 days. And Tino, I know that the award ceremony got our special gift, and I can't wait for the world to see them. Obviously, I'm not showing them until that award ceremony, but you've seen it, and it's so great. It's so great. Our publisher actually saw the gift and was like, "It's fantastic," and I was like, "God damn right it is." I was like, I want to remind you that Michael, the artist of Zor, did mention that he's one of the best and his quote, by the way, one of the best goddamn graphic artists out there. And I know you don't like the GDs, so I apologize for it, but that was a direct quote from him. Tino, I got nothing else, man. Sorry for taking it for 2 hours, but we did have 2 PLEs to go through, so take us out.
Blue Sky, SC, Tino G. I'm on Insta, SC Tino. I am on the TikTok, Tino All Great Music. You could find us on X, we're Potsy and Tino. Facebook, we're the Potsy and Tino Show. We are here each and every Monday at 7 on the Pots and Pans Network. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Buy our shit. Don't forget, we want to say thank you to Adam's House Cat for years and years of letting us use their song, the wrestling song, which you can catch on iTunes for 99 cents. 99.
I want to go ahead and thank the Jones family for letting us use that name from time to time. Everybody that has ever used that name, Jones. No, but on top of that, want to thank everybody that was watching tonight. Everybody that put some comments in the comment list. Chris Barrett, it was great seeing you back out there. Mr. Helios, obviously. Episode 425 is next week. So in comic book terms, it should be an extra sized episode. But Tino won't let me go over 2 hours, maybe 205. But anyways, follow me on all the socials. Yeah, 205. All the socials, Potchak, Rob Potsy Potchak. Potchak's on Twitter. Rob Potchak's on Instagram. Everything else is Rob Potsy Potchak, TikTok, all that good stuff. So, folks, thank you so much. We will see you next week. We love you, and we wouldn't be doing this without you. So, everybody have a wonderful week. If you're in the comic book industry, vote for Zor. And we will see you next week to go over what these results actually look like. Good night, everybody.
Ready? Motor City Machines and Potsy and Tino.
For the Potsy and Tino show.
Thanks for watching.
Monday night, it's time to go. Turn on the screen with the good time shows. Wrestling life and who knows what. If it's cool or weird, they're talking it up. It's the Potsy and Tino show.